welcome back to a brand new episode of Jori Sports Stories. As always, I'm your host Jori, and once again, we've got an action-packed, fun-filled episode for you guys today. And on today's agenda, we've gotten playoff basketball and all the drama and injuries that come with it. We'll also discuss the fast-approaching NFL draft, which will be tomorrow, and some of the various trade rumors put out there. Look out for that. Also, on this week's edition of Jori's Timeout Sessions, you'll hear my take on some notorious villains and adjutants in sports, and on chirping and blaming it on some other reason when it doesn't go too well. That is a shot. We've gotten quite the show for you all planned, so tune in. Turn up your volume and let's get it. First things first, we got NBA action, and with games now starting every other day, there isn't a lack of action. Neither is there a lack of drama. We've gotten Laker-Grizzlies foolishness, getting chippy. We've gotten a sweep by the 76ers, a slugfest in Golden State versus Sacramento, and unpredictability in the Clippers-Suns series that just ended yesterday. Plus, Dylan Brooks, the great agitator, is back with some new words. This will be a segment you don't want to miss, so let's get it. Alright, so we're going to, first in the NBA, we're going to talk about the Lakers and the Grizzlies series. And here's the thing. It's going it's going how I thought it would go. Because once again, the immaturity of this Memphis Grizzlies team is proving to be quite detrimental to any chance of a viable playoff run. Let me name the reasons. Dylan Brooks has proven to be a liability by being on the floor. All he do is do cardio. His shot is broken. He don't do much offensively, and he's subpar at defense. The only thing Dylan Brooks is good at is being an adjutant, an irritant. 38-year-old LeBron James scored 28 points the other night, most of which when being guarded by Mr. Dylan the Villain Brooks. Again, Dylan Brooks is good at nothing but being a pure irritant. And then we can go back to yesterday when he gave him a 40-piece, 20 points and 20 rebounds, and both Ja and Dylan Brooks decided they didn't want to speak to the media. We'll discuss that later. But again, Memphis has a lack of size due to no Steven Adams, who tore his PCL, and that's going to continue to be a problem for them. Lakers have the type of size that can get Memphis into some trouble. I'm talking like AD, Rui, LeBron big. And Anthony Davis has played phenomenal in Game 3, and he needs to continue to do so. He played subpar in Game 4. And in Game 5, he was here and there. And for the most part, Rui Hachimura is quickly becoming one of my favorite players, because what he does coming off the bench is very special. He's been hot. And not just like, he's been fire hot. Like, he comes off the bench, he knocks down a three, the mid-range, a floater, he can get into the paint. Defensively, he's a stud. He's a very capable defender. And I believe that this man is going to be special. All aboard the Rui Hachimura train. Passenger 1. And Austin Reeves is another one that's going to continue to give the Grizzlies some trouble. One thing I do concern about the Lakers is D'Angelo Russell, because he can't be touch and go all the time coming off the bench. And it's more touch and go. And Dennis Schroeder has been quite effective. And with LeBron not needing to be historically great to win these games, and him trusting his teammates a little bit more, they can play more free. And he's kind of sort of already handing the reins over to Anthony Davis. Anyway, And like I said, LeBron isn't taking the ball up the court as much, which is pretty much key to Lakers' success. I feel like if it runs through AD, if that offense runs through AD and he can facilitate, or he could play the 5, that Lakers team is scary. Anyway, and Ja is going to have to be historically great right now for them to even have a chance. Because with the way that the Lakers are led by LeBron and he's a veteran, he probably has these boys like, look, we're going to do a one-hitter quitter. Let's get this done. We're not going back to L.A. having to come back to Memphis. No. So, Ja's going to have to be great if Memphis is going to have the chance in this series. And with his supporting cast being decent, yes, they have Jaren Jackson Jr. I know what type of defender he is. And Desmond Bane, when he gets hot, he's second. He gets pretty hot. But they can all be iffy at times. We saw what they're capable of looking like. Immature teams, they foul a lot. They get a lot of dumb, trivial fouls as well. And if the Lakers defense can stop Ja from getting to full speed, we'll talk about him doing all of that extra stuff all the time in just a second. Memphis is in trouble. Plus, they're better defensively without Ja even being on the floor. What? Again, but the Lakers are a smarter team, though, and Memphis has shown throughout this season what falling apart looks like. Not even trying looks like. Come on. But as far as Ja's concerned, like, he needs to stop flying up in the goddamn on air like that all the time. His career is not going to be very long if all he's going to do is fly through the air. Period. And the thing is, just like that. I lost my train of thought, but going back to what I was saying, yeah, Ja needs to adjust his game. If Ja had any type of resemblance of a Euro step, that man would be fine. But because he likes to fly in at 65 miles an hour and go through the air and land all weird, we're having these conversations where we don't know if he's really healthy because his hand might hurt. And it's his shooting hand. But as long as he's playing like that, we're going to always have these type of conversations about Ja. So it's up to Ja to readjust the way Ja is playing. Period, point blank. And next we got the Los Angeles Clippers versus the Suns. And now that I've taken my notes and the series has ended, I'm going to have to readjust what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say what I had to say anyway. The Clippers are done without Kawhi. And what happened? Regardless of Russell Westbrook. I was right on that point. Because even though they have the better bench, but they don't have both Kawhi and Paul George. And the remaining supporting cast is indeed talented, but very, again, touch and go. Norman Powell did his little part. Did his little one. But the Clippers had no chance. Well, they had less of a chance once they figured out Paul George wasn't going to be there. And I'll save my results for my feelings on that in a minute. And then Russ started balling out, and then now Kawhi's done. That's when they really were finished. Because they were struggling with Russ balling out like that. They weren't winning. So it's about time to move on from one of those pieces who are almost never healthy, and they've barely even played together. And we could chalk this up to be a big old failure too. And as for the Suns, Chris Paul may be starting to become a little bit of a liability, but it does go unnoticed because of what Kevin Durant and Devin Booker are doing. And the Clippers and the